Since I was a kid, I've been the If I was your wife, we could have waited. I'm so tired all over her body. Oh, she just swallowed and I don't mind it. Ever since I was a G, I've been legit. You should let it go. She wanna be.
Yep, loud and clear.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 2 of the Supercars NZ MRP GT3 Championship. We are live here on the broadcasting lounge, and tonight we've come to one of the most legendary circuits in all of motorsport, Le Mans Circuit de la Sarthe. After an exciting opening round, the championship fight is already heating up, and now the drivers face nearly 14 kilometres of high-speed straights, tricky braking zones, and some of the most iconic corners in the world. The Mulsanne will be all about drafting and overtaking, but the Porsche curves and Arnage are going to separate the brave from the cautious. It's a track where patience, strategy, and consistency matter just as much as raw speed, and that means we could see some big shake-ups in the standings tonight. And I won't be calling it alone. Joining me in the commentary box once again is Corey Kitchen. Welcome in. What are you most looking forward to about this Le Mans showdown?
Le Mans. The long road in front. Yeah, well, we've got a few sub 4-minute laps going down, so I'm looking forward to some high speed and some slipstreaming. The Mulsanne straights with those chicanes in the middle. Oh, they're nasty, aren't they? Get on the brakes, and lots of places where you can get a pass done, Shano.
Yeah, plenty of drafting down that Mulsanne straight and into those chicanes around the back there, plenty of passing opportunities, and then high speed technical cornering as well, and a couple of low speed chicanes to finish off the lap. Le Mans has got it all on a very long piece of road through the French countryside, and you can see that long piece of road through the French countryside on the right hand side of that graphic, the track map there, as we bring up weather as well. 20 degrees ambient temperature out there this evening, and we are racing into the evening tonight as well. In France, the sun is going down, and we've got 61% humidity out there and clear skies, but clear skies in the evening is going to mean cool temperatures as that sun continues to go down, and I think we're going to be racing into the darkness tonight, which is going to be very cool to watch.
Yeah, when those lights come on, yeah, sure, McNamara will be looking out for the flashing, of course. But yeah, it's always good to come to Le Mans. I enjoy watching racing here. It is better in the daylight, just from a driver's perspective. It's a tough place at night.
Yeah, it is a very tough place at night, and we're just about ready to roll. Warm-up has come to an end. We are ticking over into the race period now, and we're gridding up, and you can see the grid coming up there. You can also hear some communication between the drivers and race control pre-race, and you can see that graphic coming up on the right hand side, so we will be hearing from race control as the night goes on. No safety cars tonight though, but we can roll through the grid order before we get too much into that. So Stefan McCartan on pole alongside Tinnis Venter. Those two had some great racing in the first heat last week.
Time over finish there, and then
Nico Cordia P3 there, Jaco Venter 4th,
Yeah, mate,
Joshua
have a good go.
Holmes 5th, Blake Dowdle 6th, Chris Taylor 7th, Brett O'Keefe will start off P8.
okay, mate. Thank you.
As my fat fingers make a mess of the grid graphic, we've got Sean McNamara in P9. Aaron Goodrick rounding out the top 10 there. Rob Carwood lining up in 11th from Michael Vanderhaas in 12th. Matt Gerard 13th. Leith Slaney 14th. Anthony Green 15th. And Blake Greenhill 16th. Steve Darren 17th. Louis Robertson 18th. Phil Carpenter 19th. Chris Zaluski 20th. Alan Scott 21st. Dan Turner 22nd. Jake O'Rourke 23rd, Wayne Hartnell 24th, Tom McCall 25th, Pete Rotmitz 26th, Dane Noda 27th, Ross Watson 28th, Hogan Shrimpton 29th, Kristen Jenkins 30th, Richard Falche 31st, Kevin DeFunterum 32nd, and then I think Kevin is going to round out our grid tonight, so that is...
Yeah, it looks like Dane Nordirth, Hogan Shrimpton, and Christian Jenkins, yeah. They will be starting pit lane.
Yeah, so those guys are not getting a lap in qualifying, so they're all state that they will have to start from the pit lane. You can see everybody lining up single file behind the pace car here. We are going for a single file race start tonight just due to those last couple of chicanes to allow everybody to get through there cleanly. Race control have asked everybody to line up single file and maintain that until they get out of that final chicane, then they can race at the green flag.
Yeah, interesting. I just seen the top 6, all different makes.
Yeah, I did notice that in practice. Good mix up in the top of the order, so plenty of variation in the pace of the manufacturers up the front. And I did mention before as well, no safety cars tonight. That is due to the length of the course and how much time it would take out of the race to deal with having a safety car. So if anybody needs to tow, they can go ahead and tow, and the safety car will not be called into action. You can see the pace car going past the pit entry there. That's because he can get in a little bit later, and he dives off very late at this circuit. We'll go into the final chicane. Stefan McCartan takes control. We're getting ready to go, and we are green and racing at the line. Stefan McCartan leading them away down towards turn 1 for the first time. Everybody behaving and staying in single file. Already a call from Joshua Holmes coming into race control though.
Copy.
Oh, and there is already, despite the single file race start, there is chaos at the back of the field before they even get to the start finish line. Coming down through Dunlop Curve now and in towards the Mulsanne Straight for the first time. Stephen McCartan continuing to lead the way. The race control calls are coming in, so plenty of controversy on that race start. Just saw Joshua Holmes making up a position. No, sorry, it was Blake Dowdle making up a position over Joshua Holmes in the background there as they come onto the Mulsanne Straight, heading down towards that first chicane. Drafting battles start now, and Stephen McCartan getting off the racing line to discourage anybody from following his toe, but Jaco Venter, actually Tinnis Venter, looks like he's serving a slowdown penalty. He's dropped all the way back to P4, so potentially running wide on that corner out onto the straight there and picking up that slowdown.
Yeah, it's a fair bit going on this first lap. She's a long lap, and so I'm reckoning, what do we reckon, 45 minutes. They're going to get in 10?
Well, 10 should take about 40 minutes, so 11 or maybe 12.
Wow, yeah, that's a few laps around here. Takes a bit to get in the groove too, so good to see some of these guys sit back in that single file and just trying to get a bit of a groove around here, because It's a long way back to the pits if you do need to tow too, so you got to look out for that.
Yeah, it is. Those tows are absolutely brutal around here. You'll sit in the pits for a long time waiting to be released if you need to hit a skate.
So we'll have limited fuel tonight too, so they're going to have to stop and get some fuel, probably just once, is it? I reckon.
I wouldn't have a clue because we were picking they'd have to stop in the second race last week, and then when we actually worked out the numbers, we realised that they didn't have to stop at all.
Yeah, that's true. We've been thrown off by the race creator this season, but the weather's looking alright, is it? No chance of rain tonight?
Yeah, it makes a difference from at least the practice race in the V8s this week, where we had heavy rain full early in the practice session, and it didn't last long, but man, that would have stuck around and came back onto the track all night. But got a little battle pack here. Lou Robertson, Phil Carpenter, Anthony Green and Steve Darren all doing battle in this high speed section around the back of the circuit, side by side, 2x2, heading down into the Porsche curbs for the first time, and oh, that's Louis spinning out into the gravel, gets it gathered up and will rejoin the track, but he's going to drop a few spots in the process, unfortunately. Chris Taylor was side by side with Nico Cordia, but just backed out of it there, potentially picking up a slowdown there somewhere.
Yeah, so they've just come around to complete their first lap now, and they're on the second, and Stefan McCartan just on 4 minutes for that first lap, so he's already straight onto the pace, opened up a 2-second lead over Jaco Venter. Linnaeus sitting in second. Third.
Yeah, Tinnis still yet to get around his teammate. And I'm going to say relative, because I don't actually know whether they're brothers or father and son, or... Certainly both got the same surname though, Jaco and Tinnis Venter.
Yeah, certainly a similarity there, isn't there? There's got to be some sort of relation. Yeah, you're onto something. Early movers through the field, I can see Wayne Hartnell, he's up 5 spots. Kevin DeFronteram as well, he's up, well, he was up 5, he's up 4. He's ended up in the pits. So we've got 3 cars now in pit lane. So there's been a little bit more mischief going on, whether it's self-inflicted or we don't know.
Is Kevin making his way back out onto the track now after picking up some repairs, or maybe just getting in early for fuel?
The incident between cars 24 and 29 is no further action.
So incident between cars 24 and 29, no further action, so that's deemed a racing incident. 24 was Joshua Holmes, and 29 was Blake Dowdle, so those guys basically told to race on at this point.
So there's going to be no safety cars tonight, did you say?
That is correct.
Oh, that's fair enough. I was looking forward to seeing it. We didn't see it last week at all, did we either? So no safety car this week. We'll be going 2 weeks without a safety car. Those GTE drivers, which are some of the same drivers, are going to have to sort it out, because we had multiple safety cars multiple weeks.
We did, and yeah, you're right, no safety car in action like this week, wasn't used last week, and even in the V8s, Div 1 on Tuesday night, the safety car wasn't required, so everybody doing a pretty good job in the last 7 days to keep the safety car parked up in pit lane.
Yeah, new season, new me from everybody, they reckon. And shout out to the weekly sponsor, Racecrafts New Zealand. Weekly sponsors, we couldn't get by without them, could we, Shano? And Racecrafts NZ, your go-to for quality sim racing products, mods and accessories. Racecrafts aims to bring affordability to sim racing with made-to-order products like button boxes, DDUs, wind simulators, haptic feedback systems and DIY components, all designed and crafted right here in New Zealand and completely customisable to fit your style. And you can head to racecrafts.co.nz
Race control,
and I'm
car
sure
100,
Mr.
current left.
Zalewski will look after us, look after you well.
He absolutely will. And as we look at Matt Gerard, I'm not going to say anything more except to point out to you, Corey, that I haven't changed anything in my settings this week.
And there's the car. Wow. That's interesting. So it showed up for me last week. I'm not at iRacing this week, so I'm just sitting here in front of my 60-inch TV with half of it doing one thing and half of it doing the other, coping, just. But yeah, it looks good. And yeah, he's made the leap to Frog Leap Juiced Racing for the new season. So we have Hamish Cleland as a teammate, and can't see him in here tonight, but he's a regular in the V8s, I think, this season.
Yeah, Matt currently sitting in P11 and battling Michael Vanderhaas for that final spot in the top 10, but somebody's been off the track just up ahead. That's Rob Carwood rejoining and dragging a bunch of gravel on as he did so.
Yeah, dirty up them tyres. Make it a little bit harder on yourself.
Matthew Gerard getting very close in behind Michael Vanderhaas, pulls out of the draft and gets the nose ahead. And he's going to be able to slot in front before he gets down to the braking point for the first of those chicanes on the Mulsanne Straight.
Yeah, a few more cars just cycling through the pit lane. Thomas McCall, he's just come out. Looks like he's just had a pit stop. Alan Scott currently in there, as well as Pete Rothmitz. Both look like, the first two look like they're just taking a pit stop. Pete Rothmitz still sitting in there taking his fuel, required fuel. Oh, here we go,
This is
3 wide
spicy.
down Mulsanne.
Hogan Shrimpton, Dan Turner and Jake O'Rourke all doing battle. Hogan Shrimpton going to come out ahead of 3 of them in that one.
Yeah, Hogan's done well. Started out of pit lane, up 8 spots into P21 now. He'd be eyeing up Wayne Hartnell up in front of him. Well, he's not really closely up in front of him, but he's there somewhere. He's 9 seconds down the road, Wayne Hartnell. So he's got a little bit of a buffer, but it doesn't take long for any small mistake to cost you a fair bit of time around here, as cars already in the sub 4 minutes as well. Stephen McCartan, fastest lap of the race, a 3:54.078. Shano, that it's hauling. Looks like BJ in a little bit of trouble, or is he making a pass? Being passed?
Being passed, I believe. So Joshua Holmes just moving up into P4 there.
Something happened to Nico Cordia. He's dropped down 3 spots into P6. So that's moved BJ and Joshua Holmes. I think Joshua Holmes, he was in 5th, so he's gone up 1 spot.
Yeah, haven't seen anything from Nico pop up in the data. Nothing showing there currently either. So not quite sure what's gone on for Nico there, but yeah, he has lost out positions.
Yeah, it could be a slowdown. That's a good one round here. You get a slowdown and that's going to cost you 3 seconds to slow down, really, isn't it? It really catches you out.
Yeah, there's some big spots where you can pick up some big slowdowns, particularly onto the Mulsanne Straight if you just run a little bit wide there, and can be a little bit frustrating because your mistakes are immediately punished, I guess, around here rather than in the long term, because you tend to get more slowdowns than off tracks around here. There's quite a few places where you can pick up a slowdown without actually picking up an off track. So it's helpful when you're racing around here to avoid having to take an extra trip through the pits, but your mistakes are punished on the spot when you have to serve those slowdowns, which can be quite tricky.
Yeah, well, that last
The
time
calls
by for
through from
Nico was his
72,
fastest lap of
85
the
and
race too,
100
so
will be looked
a
at after the race.
3:54.897. So he is back on the pace. He'll be chasing down BJ in front of him. Last time by Stefan McCartan, 3:53.872. So he's gone even faster again into the 53s.
Yeah, that's very rapid pace for Stefan out front, and he's got 6 seconds over to his Venter at the moment, so a good margin, but at a track like this, that can vanish in the blink of an eye with the smallest mistake. So Stefan will be very wary of that, and also won't want to back off too much to try and avoid that mistake coming, because if you get out of the rhythm, well, that can often lead to creating the mistake as it is, but also if you get out of the rhythm, it can see that gap evaporate relatively quickly. You've seen it's only taken him 3 laps to pull that out, and if he gets a bit too much into cruise mode, it won't take long for Tinnis and Jaco to wind that back in.
No, I won't. Yeah, you end up facing the wrong way, or you say a couple of slowdowns is probably enough to cause it too. And that just eats away at that time, so you've got to be pretty disciplined.
Of course, Le Mans, home of probably the most famous endurance racer in the world with the Le Mans 24 Hour, and endurance racing is on the mind this week at Supercars NZ, because on Sunday we are going endurance racing at the Bend, the Simblacks 500 at the Bend. Not too late to sign up. Get in there. It's all in Discord and on Facebook. Find the sign up sheets there. So get involved and get in amongst the action at round 1 of the Simblacks Enduro Cup.
Yeah, Shano, you'll be out there in your V8, giving it your all. Just a shame it's a Chevy, but you'll still give it a good red hot go.
It's absolutely great that it's a Chevy, and I managed to convince Dane to jump out of the Mustang that he normally runs, that he's been running since the start of Gen 3, and join me in a Camaro.
Oh, way to cripple a guy. Bring him right down to earth. Hey. Oh, it's not the same without Doug here.
No, I think we'll see how quick Dane is in a Mustang. I think once he jumps into that Camaro, we're going to see him top of the timesheets, fastest in the race he'll be.
Well, he's not doing too bad tonight in a Mustang. He's got himself up 8 spots at a P19 at the moment. The king of passion sim racing.
Out there in his own little world at the moment too.
Yeah, it's not hard to have that happen around here, is it? And you find yourself stuck there for quite some time.
Yeah, you sure do. You can go lap after lap after lap and never see another car around here. That's why I quite like that the Le Mans 24 Hour is multi-class, because when you're in that race, it's kind of inevitable that eventually you're going to see someone else. Either if you're in the GT3s, you're going to see some hypercars coming up to lap you, or if you're in the hypercars, you'll be lapping some GT3s and some prototypes. If you're in the prototypes, you'll have one each way. You'll be lapping GT3s and having the hypercars come up to lap you.
Yeah, so I have a term. You don't want to get mashed by a potato, because that's what happens. You get mashed. You're in a GT3 in your own little world, and all of a sudden you get mashed by a potato. True
It's
story. And ruined a few races.
yeah.
Anthony Green, he'd agree with me. He's probably been involved in one of those. And I bet O'Keefe definitely has. He's made his way around Joshua Holmes as well and up into P4 now as well, BJ. Pretty consistent times with the top, the sort of the top 6 cars, I would say, all under 354s quite regularly. Joshua Holmes is the only one that hasn't. So he is slipping down. He's got Nico Cordia not too far behind him now.
Yeah, so Josh had made a good start and had moved up a few spots. He's soon back where he started now in P5. BJ doing a great job up 4 spots into P4, so he was fighting the Perth traffic to get here in time for the race start, and he made it just in time. Obviously not getting a huge amount of practice time in, and he's certainly found his pace as this race has gone on and improving on his starting position and looking to see if he can improve even more. He's got a couple of seconds to close in on Jaco Venter, but well, what's his pace looking like? Last lap, a little bit slower than Jaco, but I think he did pass Josh on the last lap, didn't he?
He did, yeah. They both posted PBs last lap and not too much in it. A few tenths in there.
Oh! Well, he's got tangled up with Jaco in the end, but there's the spot for BJ into P4. Jaco having a moment out there in the Lamborghini.
Looks like Joshua Holmes got round him.
Oh yeah, he did too. So Joshua Holmes moving into P3 now. So BJ made one and lost one to stay in P4, and I think he's got some damage too because he was struggling at the first of the Porsche curbs there.
May have been pushing a little hard after that little hold up, but he's got thinner. Oh, Blake. Well, Nico actually. Nico's right on his tail now.
Yeah, I mean his pace had been kind of considerably. Yeah, he's come into the pits. I was going to say his pace had been considerably faster than Joshua's previously, and he was sort of getting left behind by Joshua and having to deal with pressure from Nico there. So I think that contact, unfortunately, just giving him some splitter damage there and costing him some downforce, having to get back in. Looks like we are expecting everybody to come in and take a stop for fuel at some point. So getting in now and getting that fast repair and the fuel in the car, hopefully he should be able to recover from that. Might come out in clear air and put some good lap times down and end up undercutting Joshua Holmes, and I think BJ's still one to watch for the podium here.
Yeah, the undercut round here is real if you stay out too long. But yeah, you don't want to undersell yourself at the same time, not too early. So I think he's probably at a pretty good time. We're 20 minutes into the race, so 25 to go, or just under. So I think it's sort of a good time now to see people start rolling in. So looks like we've got the top 14 guys yet to pit. Well, some of them. I don't think Hogan and there's Sean and Jake as well. Dane Norduth in 19th, just coming in now to take his stop.
Oh, sorry. Kevin, no, you don't.
There's been a lot of action for the old replay, Shana, but yeah, she's going on here. Blake Dowdle, he's up, he's where he started in 6th spot, so he's got Chris Taylor just in front of him in the Lamborghini.
Yeah, I have had some data popping up. We've got Kevin DeFunter. Oh, this is very much after the fact.
It is. Looks like he's already hit something.
This looks like it's going to tell us a bit more of the story. So coming down into the Dunlop chicane there. Oh, just loses the rear. and then just rolling back into the tyre barriers. I'll tell you what, that's another reason to hold your brake when you spin, because it avoids that sort of thing. Didn't roll into traffic on this occasion,
man.
but
Push it
rolled
up.
into the
Good to
tyre
see you on
barrier,
track,
and I think
man.
if he'd jumped on the brakes there, he probably could have kept it off the tyres.
Nine.
Yeah, and then doing the
Right,
safe
because
thing and
it's
sort
on
of
for
staying out
minimum.
of the way, but I think he's realised he's got a little bit too much damage and maybe towed after that.
Yeah, I think he did end up taking the tow. Of course, everybody's free to tow as they need to tonight. No safety car in action as we covered off earlier. Blake downhill. Sorry, Blake. I don't know where I got downhill from, but anyway, Blake downhill. Putting pressure on Chris Taylor. Is that a lap car? Yeah, looks like a lap car. They're making their way around. I think that might have been Richard Fauché there. But they make their way around. So Rich hasn't been in the sim for a wee while. First laps back tonight, and just taking his time to get back up to pace and staying well and truly out of the way there as Chris Taylor and Blake Dowdle made their way around. But Blake's keen to see if he can move up into P5.
We'll say we've doubled our Aston Martin count this week, only 2 last week, but we've gained a couple of Steve and Richard jumping in Aston Martins.
That's where cool is. Chris just ran a little bit wide through the forward curves there, and Blake able to pounce and immediately move up into P5. I actually wonder if Chris might have decided to just let him go there. Kind of looked a little bit like that, didn't it?
Yeah, well, Blake, I guess you could call him a professional driver these days.
Yeah, he is. Actually, I don't know what. Not entirely sure which category he's racing currently out there in the real world. He's done quite well in recent years in Formula First and Formula Ford. Not sure if he's still in Formula Ford or if he's graduated to something else now. Representing MRP out there as well, our series sponsor. So big thanks to MRP. Get in touch with Barry if you're interested in any sim gear. Head over to mrpsimracing.co.nz and check out their full range. They've got track racer cockpits and a whole lot of other sim gear to keep you going.
Yeah, 2025 New Zealand Formula Ford champion. There you go, Blake Dowdle, and that's definitely a good effort. He's actually got some good accolades, actually. So the North Island Formula Ford Championship in 2022, got second in his rookie season. Got the Murray Smith Memorial Trophy in 2023. And then same again in 2025, as well as the Formula Ford Championship. So, well done, Blake. It's cool to have you out here racing with us. It looks like you got good support, because we know Barry's a good supporter, because he supports us very well.
Absolutely, and Blake very clearly, very talented young driver, is in behind. I've just seen, I think it was Chris Taylor running wide through that chicane, and Nico Cordia getting ahead of him to move back up into P5, so his recovery continues, just down 2 spots from where he started now. Rob Carwood, man on a mission currently as well, up 4 spots from where he started. He's sitting in P7 and just in behind Chris Taylor now.
Just looking at the timing tower, BJ is the first car that is pitted. So he came in, looks lap 5, so that's 2 laps ago. So everybody else sort of hanging in as long as they can.
Yes, you can see there's still the bulk of the field yet to stop. As you say, BJ, first car that has stopped, sitting in P12. It'll be interesting to see where he filters in once everybody does complete their pit stops tonight.
Yeah, he's looking at about a minute, roughly a minute 2 seconds behind Stefan currently. So I'm not sure what the pit lane transition time is. I haven't got that information tonight. Excuse me for a second, Shane. I'm just going to cross the road.
All good, so we're riding on the rear bumper of Nico Cordia, looking back at the battle between Chris Taylor and Rob Carwood. And they're all piling into pit lane now. So this looks like they might be under that. Oh, there's an incident. Incident in pit entry in behind. Looks like Rob Carwood making contact with the rear of Chris Taylor's car, doing damage, but fortunately for them they can pick up the fast repair and get that all cleared away. But that was, well, that's not how you want to be coming into the pits, but I think they're going to get off pretty lightly on that one. So Stefan, Tinnis and Joshua have all stayed out, so they've got fuel to do that extra lap, but it looks like the bulk of the field are piling in there. BJ, obviously having taken that stop, he's going to cruise on past all those guys in the lane, comes out ahead of Blake Dowdle by a couple of seconds by the look of it.
A few more pit stops have been happening.
Yeah, you just missed the moment when the bulk of the field pulled the pin on that one there, Corey. Everyone bar the top three having now come in and taken their pit stop. Brett O'Keefe continues to be the first guy that has pitted.
Yeah, it could be a good call from you with how he does tonight. I think he could be on for a podium. He's made the right call when he's pitted, that's for sure.
Copy.
Yeah, this is the guy that is going to be racing, Joshua Holmes, and this was the guy that he was racing prior to the pit stop. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. I don't think that's Tinnis ahead of him. I think that's a lapped car. Might be, yeah, it's Kristen Jenkins there. But that, well, this part of the track it will help him because it's picking up some draft, but if he can't get by fairly soon, it might end up costing him a little bit of time, and that's only going to help BJ. BJ running with a 46-second gap in front of him at the moment, and Josh getting impatient on the flashing lights right off. Not in a hurry to let him go. But Josh gets that one done now as they come in towards Indianapolis, and I think we're seeing Josh on the in lap, and he is going to be diving for pit lane at the end of this one. I think this guy probably will as well, Stephen McCartan, so we'll keep an eye on him. Although he is always good at saving a bit of fuel, but it takes a lot of saving to get a whole other lap around here, and I think it must have been pretty tight between getting 7 or 8 laps in, and he's been able to squeeze that 8th lap along with Tinnis and Joshua. I wouldn't imagine you'd be able to squeeze a 9th if it was marginal, whether you could do 7 or 8 laps, and he does dive for the pits now. Stephen McCartan, race leader, comes in. He had a fairly comfortable margin before anybody came to the lane, so I would imagine he's going to maintain that out the other side.
Yeah, set his fastest lap that last flyer that he did too, so he's absolutely flying with no fuel.
Yeah, the tyres on the GT3 cars tend to hold on quite well as well, so when you get to the bottom end of that fuel run, they do tend to unlock quite a bit of pace in the car. So Tinnis Spencer and Joshua Holmes have come to the lane, so we'll keep an eye on BJ here as he comes through the Porsche curves. We're looking for him potentially to jump ahead of Joshua Holmes at the pit exit. Stephen McCartan back on track now, so he maintains his race lead. BJ coming through the final chicanes now. Joshua is rolling in the lane. Oh no, he's not, sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry, he was. He comes out onto track now, but BJ up to speed, but I think Joshua's going to have just enough here by the look of it. And comes out with, nearly 4 seconds initially, but he will be adjusting to the new fuel load. His tyres will have cooled off just fractionally while he was stopped in the lane there, so there will be a window of opportunity here where BJ can look to close that gap down.
Yeah, absolutely nothing in it when it comes to the time they spent getting their fuel. We got Joshua Holmes 16.85 and BJ was a 16.67. So absolutely down to the millimetre.
Yeah, very, very close between the two of them. So Jaco entered down in P10, so we did see him have that little spin actually, that's right. And it was Jaco who, unfortunately, Stefan clipped on the way through after he had that spin. Sorry, not Stefan. BJ clipped Jaco on the way through following that spin and resulted in that damage that forced him to come in for the early stop. Message from race control.
The incident involving cars 301 and car 714, lap 8 will be a post-race investigation.
Post-race investigation for, I think I heard 301, so that's Aaron Goodrick, and I've already forgotten the other number that was read out there.
Well, I have no help.
I still don't know why you can't hear anything. As far as I can see from my settings, you should be able to hear it, but anyway, that's alright.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's probably at my end. I thrown everything together as quick as I could this afternoon so that we could enjoy my company this fine Thursday evening, and that is
Michael van der Haas.
Yeah.
Heavy contact into the inside wall there. So I would say he's just got a bit wide and caught the grass there and just lit it up, and it just fired hard right.
It was a big hit.
It was a massive hit. We just caught it in the background. We'll pick it up on replay here because it was massive. Oh, didn't even make the grass, just carrying that speed across the curb, and it just went around on him.
Good job of stopping it.
Yeah, trying to carry that extra speed through the tight corner there and just rotated a bit more than what he was counting on.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we missed Jaco getting ahead of Chris Taylor as well. We have got a replay of that. Side by side on the run down towards Indianapolis. And getting through that right-hander as you approach Indianapolis too wide is a lot harder than what they made it look, because you do get on the brakes somewhere partway through that right-hander to get the car stopped for the left-hander, and yeah, very tricky to make that work side by side, but they did a good job of it.
Yeah, a lot of hope involved. Dennis is definitely a little bit quicker. He's racing away, trying to make up some lost ground from that earlier spin.
Jaco sure is.
Joshua Holmes is his last lap was included his pit stop, so I was just wondering what happened there, but he's still in front of BJ. He has dropped it down though, down to 1.7 seconds, that gap between those two.
Yeah, that has come down quite a bit. That was sitting there, it was nearly 4 seconds when Josh came out of the pits.
A few more cars in pit lane.
Yeah, Steve Darren in the pits, so I believe this is his second time in. So not quite going to plan there.
It looks like that could have been just a top up of fuel. Maybe he didn't put enough in, or maybe he just needed to take a fast repair.
Yeah, I think he might have been caught up in some of the early drama and potentially had to get in a bit early for some repairs, and now he's just had to come back in and get that splash to get him home there.
Taylor's car here. Back at Matthew Gerard, so he's up 3 spots into P10. Chris Taylor, he's lost 2 spots into P9. Biggest mover though, Shana. Hogan Shrimpton is up 17 spots into P12, so that's a great drive from him.
Yeah, Hogan doing a very good job there. Running in no man's land a little bit at the moment. He's got 17 seconds to Michael van der Haas ahead and 9.5 seconds to Blake Greenhill behind. So Hogan will be looking to put clean, consistent laps in. Hogan goes alright here. 2 joined my team for our first attempt at the Le Mans 24 hour and helped us out with a very good performance on his part. The rest of us didn't perform all that well, and the result wasn't what we wanted, but Hogan did a great job.
Yeah, it's always good when somebody pulls all the weight for you.
Absolutely.
Definitely been in that position.
Matt Gerard, Chris Taylor, Michael van der Haas, Matt Gerard battle seems to be the closest battle on track at the moment, but I am keeping an eye on BJ closing in on Josh, and he's actually just got that in under a second there, and actually it's sitting around the same as what this battle is. So, correction, sorry, that's I was reading the gaps on my screen wrong. Blake Dowdle has closed to within a second on BJ. So we've been talking about BJ for the podium, and he's been bringing that gap down. It has stretched out to Joshua Holmes as well now, and Blake Dowdle putting the pressure on, looking to see if he can take P4 off him.
Yeah, I wonder if he made a mistake there that last lap. Maybe a slowdown has cost him. He definitely lost a bit of time. I was just looking at the points there briefly. So Stefan McCartan, obviously, he's got a 3-point lead over Mitchell Sparrow at the moment. Mitchell Sparrow not here tonight. Jaco Venter is tied with Mitchell Sparrow for second. Joshua Holmes sitting in third. BJ sitting in fifth. Aaron Goodrick sixth. Phineas Venter, Nico Cordia, Michael van der Haas and Daniel Turner rounding out your top 10 so far in the points, but only one round, so not a lot doing.
Of course, we did have a couple of races in that one round though, and some mixed results with the reverse grid in the second race, and plenty of drama coming there as well. But Stephen McCartan won the first race, and he's continued on in fine form in tonight's race, doing a great job to lead by 5 seconds at the moment, and I believe we're going to get this lap in and then one more. We are down to 3 minutes remaining now, but Stefan over halfway through a lap, so he should get this one done before the time runs out. Blake Dowdle though, all over the back of BJ, is gonna pull out down into this corner here, down into Mulsanne, and gets the pass done and moves into P4.
It did go live on Facebook.
It did?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, disregard my post that I did. But anyway. Oh, wow. So Blake up into P4. BJ's going to try and sort of hold on the pace. I think it's just a couple of laps. Maybe got out of some rhythm. That's all it takes. Get out a little bit of a rhythm and all of a sudden you've lost, 4 or 5 seconds just like that.
Yeah, it's very hard to get back into a rhythm around here as well. With such a long lap, so often at shorter tracks you get out of your rhythm and you can just reset on the next flap and find your braking markers again and get back into that rhythm. But it's so hard to reset when it takes so long to get back around to the same corners again.
Yeah, and then you have demons of the last time you went round there and lost it. So you're worried you don't want to do that again. So you probably go a little bit slower. Got a slow car there. Just going past. Must be a lap car.
Oh, I thought they were coming to the pits there, but just getting across to open up the corner. And it's those sort of things that always the top guys find those places where you can exploit, get a little bit more width on the approach to the corner, or use a little bit more width on the exit of the corner, cut the apex of the corner a little bit tighter. They explore exactly where the track limits are and use them all up, and quite often even intentionally exceed the track limits to burn through their incident points and gain an advantage. And I see Scott Pickering in the comments, and I know he doesn't like that, but it happens, and everybody's got their incident points that they're allowed, and at the end of the day there is a risk in doing it, because if you get caught up in an incident and you've only got 2 incident points left and you get yourself a 4X, then you're taking a trip through the pits.
No, Scott, he's definitely in the chat. You're right. He has someone that baffled me. I need some elaboration from you, Scotty. Just because Sean's on a ban? Well, he's not. He's racing. He did get a ban. He got a smack on the bum and told off for his shenanigans last week. But yeah, no ban. And he does show up for work. He shows up more than just about all of us. So got to give Mac some credit there. He's let us well. Still give him crap.
Absolutely. And yeah, to clarify, Sean McNamara not on a ban, clearly, he's racing. He did have to serve a drive-through at the start of the race tonight for not requesting, or for towing without requesting last week. So he had us confused, Corey. We're not sure whether the rule was in effect, because surely if it was there, Sean McNamara would not have broken it, but he did break it.
Yeah, and he still forgot his spec map, Sean McNamara. You still forgot your spec map. If you go look at Lou's car, it will look a little bit better.
Oh yes, nice and shiny.
Yeah, it's got all the shiny bits on it. Or maybe Sean just wanted to be the dull one between the two. I don't know.
Sean is a little bit dull, isn't he?
Hey.
Well, we're on the final lap because we've ticked over 45 minutes. We're into almost up to 47 minutes now. Such a long track that this is. It takes a long time to get around if you just get that extra lap in. But Stephen McCartan coming through the Porsche curves now, so not too far away from the end of this one, and he has absolutely owned this one. And that gap is nearly 20 seconds now, 19.66. So he is absolutely flying out there. Coming to the forward curves now, and he's just got those last couple of little chicanes to go. But Stephen McCartan, he won a close fought battle with Tennis Venter in the first race last week. Definitely didn't go all his way in the second race, but come out here into round 2, single race at Le Mans, and Stephen McCartan, absolutely dominant performance to come home P1, 20 seconds clear of Tennis Venter, who is just coming into those last couple of chicanes now.
Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely dominating display by Stefan tonight, but there's Tennis coming across the line in second, and a wee bit of a gap back. Joshua Holmes rounding out the podiums tonight.
Yeah, good mix of teams and manufacturers on the podium. Mercedes, Ferrari, BMW. Blake Dowdall comes home in P4, Nico Cordia P5. Jaco Venter leading home a tight battle pack in P6. Brett O'Keefe P7, Rob Carter. So, not sure what happened to BJ on the last lap there. He's dropped back to P7 there.
Yeah, he might have been a bit hard on the tyres.
Oh, he's frustrated at himself, whatever happened. Rob Carwood P8, Chris Taylor P9, Matt Gerard rounds out our top 10. Michael van der Haas coming home in P11, Hogan Shrimpton P12 as he comes across the line now. Blake Greenhill coming down towards the end now, running in P13. And he locks that one up, gets it done, across the line. Unlucky for some, P13. Chris Zaluski, Racecrafts NZ, our race week sponsor, coming home in 14th. Leith Sweeney, 15th. Sean McNamara, after having to serve a drive-through at the start of the race, coming home in 16th. Anthony Green, second of the Astons home in P17. Steve Dowron will be third of the Astons home in P18.
Such a gap.
Yeah, that was quite a jump back to Tone Notiff. Not at the Porsche curves yet, but not too far away from them. He's running in P19. Still got Louis Robinson running behind him as well, but a minute behind, so...
Well, we'll take this quick moment to thank our weekly sponsor, Racecrafts NZ. Your go-to for quality sim racing products, mods and accessories. Racecrafts aim to bring affordability to sim racing with made-to-order products like button boxes, DDUs, wind simulators, haptic feedback systems and DIY components. All designed and crafted right here in New Zealand and completely customizable to fit your style. Head to racecrafts.co.nz.
And Dane Notiff now coming past the pit tree. He'll come through those last couple of chicanes and he bounces over that sausage curb for good measure, and he comes down and crosses the line to bring it home in P19. Lou Robertson's last car on the lead lap. He is sitting in P20, so he just has to get to the finish line to secure that one.
Thanks, Race Control. Appreciate you. Our time there, mate.
Yeah, well, he's only got a quarter of the track to go.
Absolutely. Finishing a lap down We had Alan Scott in 21st, Pete Rockmitz 22nd, Kevin DeFunter 23rd, Jake Rourke 24th, Aaron Goodrick 25th, Kristen Jenkins 26th, Wayne Hartnell 27th, Dan Turner 28th, Richard Fauché 29th, Tom McCall 30th, and Phil Carpenter 31st. And of course, big thanks to Ross Watson as well for doing race control tonight. I think Louis got some damage there because he's just cruising around, doesn't he? Doesn't seem to be pushing it all that hard at the moment.
We should drag him up and ask him what he's pissing around at.
He's just cruising in third gear. Maybe he just knows that he's got P20 no matter what happens, so he's just cruising at home.
Oh yeah, I pressed the wrong button, my bad.
Just out for a Sunday drive, Louis comes home in P20.
Yeah, well, he got it home though, and that is the main thing.
Absolutely, and finished on the lead lap as well, so he's obviously doing well enough previously, so either picking up some damage somewhere potentially, or I honestly think once he realised that it was P20 no matter what he did, he just cruised the last lap. Could have been trying to save some fuel as well, might have been tight on fuel to get that last lap in, but he certainly made it there without any issues. So that wraps it all up for tonight. Big thanks to you, Corey, for joining me tonight.
Absolutely no worries, and I'll be here next week as per usual. You can catch me on me and Wayne on Sunday for the round one of the Simplex Enduro Cup, live from the Bend. So looking forward to that. That will be my Sunday. I get to skip church and hang out with Wayne and talk some race cars at the Bend. Maybe bring up some sausage curbs.
Yeah, there's a few sausages around there, isn't there? We've been over that already. Very much looking forward to the Simplex 500 at the Bend, and big thanks to all our drivers for coming out and having a race tonight, and iRacing for giving us the platform to do it on. Thanks to Racecrafts, our Race Week sponsor, and MRP series sponsor of the Supercars NZ MRP GT3 Championship. Big thanks to everybody at home for tuning in as always, and we will see you all next time.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been the gym.